Hello and welcome back to the Watford Way on transfer deadline day. Today I'm joined by my good friend George, who runs Watford FC News on Instagram. George, you're in your newly assembled man cave today. It's looking very nice, much better than my surroundings. How are you doing today?
I'm not bad. Thought I'd get something done this evening because I've been bored the last few weeks. So try something new. Do you know what I mean? So
Yes.
happy to be here.
You've got a dartboard in front of you as well. What's your best scoring round of darts at the moment, George?
Thing is, I could lie, but I think I've got a couple of mates watching. So I'll be honest. I think I average about 40. That's about it. I think the
Okay.
closest I've been to 180 is massive. It's never happened. Never been anywhere near.
So
So
you're not the next Luke Litley. You're not going to be the new, Watford young sensation.
far from it, mate. Far from it. I'll tell you that.
Okay, that's a shame. That's a shame. But we'll dive into transfers today. Lots to discuss, of course, and it is still transfer deadline day as we speak. So if any news breaks during the stream, I think George has his eyes on Twitter at the moment, so he'll bring
Yes,
that
I do.
straight to us if anything happens. George, we'll start with the incomings, and we'll start actually with Caleb Wiley, who Watford announced today, the American left wing back signing from Chelsea on a loan deal until the end of the season. I'm not one to write off players before they've kicked a ball, George, but it seems pretty underwhelming given the other left back targets we were linked with. We saw Matt Targett linked with Watford, Charlie Taylor, and we've ended up with Caleb Wiley. What are your thoughts on him and whether he'll have a big impact on this Watford team?
It's hard to guess because obviously I don't think many of us have actually watched or heard of the guy because
No.
I believe he was at Strasbourg in France, which
Yes,
is
yes,
obviously
yeah.
Chelsea's sister club, whatever you want to call it. What I do know is that he's injured, so he clearly fits the Watford regime already. Um, but he's been injured since November, and ideally, he had what was it? I think knee problems as well just before his
Yeah,
dislocated
so he had
shoulder.
knee problems before and he's got that dislocated shoulder
Yeah,
now. So
it's not exactly the greatest. I mean, clearly Watford are in for injured players, so I mean, what can we do about it? They're clearly not backing the manager like they said they would. Just another normal day for you, really. Just what do you expect?
it's a shame as well because cleverly in recent weeks, George has kind of gone to that back four system, and I felt like Charlie Taylor, especially, is me and you call him like a Brexit footballer, don't we? He would have fitted that system, really nicely, and to sign an injured left wing back with he's had no experience in the championship is just another really strange decision by the hierarchy, and more specifically, George, Juan Luca Nani. What are your thoughts on how he's operated at Watford since he rejoined the club?
I wouldn't believe a word he says. I mean, like, he said it in an interview with Andrew French on Watford Observer that he believes that our squad is top six quality, and it's just like a bit delusional. I'm going to be brutally honest. It's just a bit delusional, and
Yeah,
it's quite funny to laugh at. It's like if you don't laugh, you'll probably cry about it because if anything, we've got a boardroom that don't know what the hell they're doing. And it's a shame because we had a side overachieving. I think I predicted them to finish in 18th in the summer.
yeah.
Overachieving, unbeaten runs at home, being in the top six for most of 2024 this season, and you've then got the board going. Oh, we won't strengthen. Like, yeah, you've got some injuries, but it's fine. That you've got these runs. It's like no, it doesn't work like that. Unfortunately, like I'm not a what's the word I'm looking for? A boardroom member. Like I know my stuff. But it's common sense, but they just clearly don't have that. It's just quite funny to look at.
I
It's a
think the
shame.
illusion of there being like a wider board is a pretty false accusation as well, because really, regardless of how many people sit on kind of that Watford upper echelon of that hierarchy, really one man makes the decisions, George, and that is Gino Pozzo, and he should take responsibility for the situation we find ourselves in. And
Yeah.
again, you referred to some quotes from Juan Luca Nani there. I mean, I posted one on the Watford Way just before we come live here today, and Again, I think this comes from his programme notes that he did for the club, a few weeks ago in the official matchday programme. And he said the target is to leave the January transfer window knowing that the squad is stronger than when you entered. That is the most important thing. Would you say that the squad as it stands right now at 7:05 on the 3rd of February is stronger than when we entered?
It's got worse.
Yes, I would say
We're
significantly
thin as a
as well.
bone. We're down to our bones right now. There's nothing really we can do. As soon as we get an injury at centre back, we've got Kevin who's only played about 5 minutes, which is shocking. I didn't
One
even
minute, I
realise.
think Keben
Yeah,
has played.
literally, I completely forgot. I was like, oh yeah, he did Sheffield Wednesday. But yeah, it's a massive win, but you just sort of forget who was that he played. And it's like, well, if he gets injured, because he's even injury prone himself. It's just like we keep signing injury prone players and slow ones. Because don't get me wrong, love Ogbonna, experience. Yes, he's old, but he's experienced and he's got that mind of a defender, but he's slow.
Yeah.
As soon as a team breaks in behind, he ain't catching them. And it's a shame because the way Cleverly plays, it's a lot higher up and it's like he can't run back. So it's a shame.
Let's go through all our outgoings now, actually, George. I've got them listed here. We went through the list before we started the stream today just to make sure I hadn't missed out on anyone. So Ken Semmer has left to go to Paphos FC in Cyprus. Ryan Porteous today has gone to join Paul Heckenbottom over at Preston, who I have to say they're a dirty, dirty team, Preston. I don't know if you were at the game, George, at Vicarage Road, but my word, I mean, they were flying into some, disgusting challenges.
I was on my phone for
Festy
that game.
has gone to Istanbul Başakşehir. Kaki Almeida, who we signed for, I think, £1 million in the summer, has been released on a free transfer to go back to Brazil. Antonio Tikvic, we were lied to that so we thought he was a loanee, George. It turned out they signed him in August, Antonio Tikvic, and we only found out obviously later in January through Joan Lucanani. It turned out the club had just forgotten to announce, however much you want to read into that, you can do. And Daniel Jefferson has gone back to Bournemouth. So a few outgoings there. And is there any outgoings that you regret there, George? Jefferson, Tikvic, Almeida, Ebisele could be one that we later come to regret perhaps. But yeah, as you say, it seems like we've got significantly, weaker in this window.
Yeah, I think we all wanted Jebson to work because he signed in the summer. We were like, oh, a good signing because obviously he had his time at Sheffield United, and obviously left, and then they had something. I still can't figure out what they had against him. I could be completely unknown of what happened there, but he came to Bournemouth, and then we were linked to him. I was like, oh, a striker that could actually work and fit in the system. 13 games later, 0 goals, 0 assists, and he's gone back and thinking he's the best thing since sliced bread. So it's a shame because he had the potential and it just didn't work out. Lacking confidence.
Tom Cleverley seemed to really want him in the summer as well. I remember when we were invited onto the interview with Scott Duxbury, and Duxbury talked about how Tom Cleverley gave Jefferson and Bournemouth kind of a full presentation on how he envisaged his development going. And as you say, George, and it transpired that Jefferson couldn't score from about a centimetre from goal in the end, which was
twice as well, probably 3 times. He did it against Portsmouth, Norwich. I think there's one more. Can't figure out. It's too many. 3 times too many, unfortunately. Is what it is.
Lots of you tuning in as well. Nearly 30 of you watching at the moment. To get your comments in the live chat if you have any for us. And make sure to subscribe to The Watford Way by clicking the button down below. And I'm sure most of you follow George's account on Instagram at Watford FC News. Melanie George says, I'm fuming. They've sold us all out, including Tom Cleverley. I'm sure you probably agree with what Melanie said there.
I think you'd be oblivious if you didn't think that was true. Because, I mean, again, if you don't think the owners are the issue, fine. You're all entitled to your opinion, but it comes to a stage where you just think, are they fit enough to run a club now? Because it's too many lies, especially Scott Duxbury. I'm not sure about that one.
See, personally, I think Scott Duxbury's heart is in the right place, but because of the man above him, Duxbury has no real control. Duxbury can say to Gino, the fans really like Tom Cleverley, don't get rid of him. But ultimately, Gino owns Watford. He can do as he wishes, George.
Yeah, it's sort of becoming the puppet of Gino Pozzo. I think
that's how I would describe him.
Yeah, I think anyone in the boardroom that Gino's hires, he is a puppet, and I feel like that's what Scott's become, and he's lying and stuff like that. And it's just like, do we believe you? Do we not? Is it your words or is it Gino's words? We don't know, because Gino doesn't say anything to us. And I think he did it once in a meeting at the training grounds. I think that's the first time in the time he's been at a club.
Week ago, we got that statement from Gino. Although I don't know how much you believe that it was Gino who wrote that.
Yeah, which again, it's putting a blanket over everything, thinking, yeah, it's fine, but it's not. It's not really fine. It's a shame.
Roberto here says, evening lads, this club never fails to shock me. Honestly, a car crash of a club. Get Gino and Nani out of this mess. iBedlist says, come on, you Orns. Thank you very much. iBedlist also says, I agree, James. I don't think Duxbury is the problem. He knows what should happen, but Gino and Juan Luca are the ones messing up. I think you've summed that up pretty well there. Melanie says, nearly everyone around us have made great signings. We have Sunderland and Borough away next, sandwiched with Leeds. And obviously, George, actually, at the end of that run, we've got Luton at home. So in terms of them, next run of fixtures, given the current state of the squad after this transfer window, can you see Watford winning any of them matches, or is it going to be pretty bleak for Tom Cleverley?
I don't think we'll win on quality. I think it'll be a case of if we turn up. If it's at home, away, I don't see us winning away. But at home, it'll be more of a case if we turn up. Because Norwich on the weekend, we weren't bad. We defended well with 10 men. I'll give the players that. We defended really well, but it's hard to predict now with the squad we've got and the recruitments that we haven't been given. If we had the experienced Championship players come in like Tom requested, we would probably be okay. But now I don't. It would be a struggle. It will be a right struggle against every team we play against now, especially in February. Luton's a hit or miss. Always is.
Yeah. In terms of Tom Cleverley, George, he come out, I think, was it yesterday or the day before, and he said to the media that he was expecting 2 signings to come through before the deadline, including one experienced Championship player. Do you think Tom Cleverley is now regretting them public comments he made? And I think Tom Cleverley has had a tendency to do this during his time as Watford manager. He's come out as being quite bullish and open with what's happening behind the scenes, and it's come back to bite him a few times. As it stands at the moment, our only signing today is Caleb Wiley, who is a young, inexperienced fullback, and there's no sign of this experienced Championship player that Cleverley was alluding to.
Yeah, it's one of those where you look at the things that Cleverley says. Is it more of Cleverley being told to say that? I've seen a lot of people say that as well. Again, could be a load of malarkey, but it's Watford Football Club. Anything is up in the air. It's hard to really know what's right and what's wrong because everyone's backing Cleverley. He knows we're backing him, but it feels like everyone above him isn't. So he's sort of trying to put a blanket over them and sort of give us hope in a way. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like, what do you say with the stuff that you're working with? What do you say about it? It's again, like I said, the ownership are putting him up to fail, and it's a shame.
It is a shame, George. Do you think after that run of fixtures, that culminates with Luton towards the end of February, do you think Tom Cleverley will still be in a job by that point? Or, will Pacheta, this guy from Spain, will he be in charge of Watford FC instead? Who knows?
If they sack him after Luton, I think everyone's head wouldn't be on this planet, because it just gives them another, what's the word? Instead of it giving them 6 points, it's 6 points and a manager sacking. It's like
Yeah.
you can't do
Well,
that
we
against
saw
your
a similar
rival.
situation with like Rob Edwards, where if Watford were to beat Luton earlier this season, we were all expecting Edwards to get sacked, but as you say, they would never give us that
No,
satisfaction,
exactly.
would
Yeah,
they? Yeah.
no, it's I don't know. It's like if you sack someone now. Sorry, no. If you sack Cleverley after the February run, I think that'd be a bit harsh. Yes, we've only won a couple in the last 15 games, but what do you expect with the injuries that we've got and the recruitment that you gave him? I don't really understand why you'd sack him when it's the higher ups' fault. It's typical Watford because they've done it in the past. It's typical.
So Andrew French just posted on his blog, George, that there has been an arrival of his Thai curry from his wife. So breaking news,
Brilliant.
Andrew French has confirmed that his curry that has been made for him by his wife has arrived. So I hope Andrew French enjoys his food this evening. And we broke the news exclusively in the Watford Way at lunchtime that he had a mushroom soup, which was fantastic news to hear, George.
Very slow news day, that's for sure. Very, very slow news day. I feel bad for Andrew. Yes, he's at the training ground, but it must be very, very quiet.
Yeah, as Roberto said, that is a great pickup. That is our experienced Championship player there, the Thai curry. Absolutely.
Bang on the money, that one. Bang on the money.
Oh dear. George, there's no real structure to this stream. We're just having a chat like two mates, really. Let's talk about Egil Selvik, actually, because he is our new goalkeeper. He come in from Udinese, which again seemed like a bit of a dodgy deal, George, because he signed for them on a free transfer, 2 weeks ago, and then 2 weeks later he signs for Watford on a permanent deal. He's a Norwegian international, a good age, 27 years old. Is he the long-term Daniel Batman replacement for you? I mean, he's got to be, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, I'd love to praise the guy, but I've never watched him. I've never heard of
No,
him.
no.
It's just, again, shady business. People will complain about that. I think they did with the Kamara 2-3 years ago, 16 million.
I
That
think there
was
was an
shady.
investigation into how much Kamara was valued at, wasn't there?
Yeah, it's weird because was it a signing from the Norwegian club to Udinese? It was free, was it?
Correct.
Or yeah, and then putting money in your left hand to your right hand for 1.7 million to an English club that you own is a bit
So it's like,
skeptical.
the way I like to describe it for anyone who's an idiot watching this is like you've got your bank account, let's say you got £1,000 in your savings account. You're going to transfer £500 from that to your current account that you spend on. So it's
Yeah,
essentially
exactly
for,
that.
it's essentially for me, Gino Pozzo, transferring money from one account to the other. Which is it legal in football? I'm not an expert. It probably is legal. There's probably workarounds that they use, but it still seems. It's just an odd deal to happen. But in terms of Selvik himself, George, I mean, statistically, I know he's been playing in a lower league comparative to the Championship, but statistically, he still looks pretty good, especially from kind of the command of his area and high claims, which Batman is poor at. So we didn't see him feature in the last game, but are you expecting him to play this weekend against Sunderland over Jonathan Bond?
I see him as a number one. Does he come in straight away? No. I think it's more of a case of building him up to what needs to be required of him. Because I think Bond at the minute, to be fair, he's not doing too bad at all.
He made some great saves at the weekend, George. I mean,
Exactly.
you were there.
I mean, Narucci just ball watching ruined the moment for him. It was a great save. It's just a shame the goal went into the guy that always scores in the Vicarage Road. But I think it's
wow,
case of
George, breaking news, sorry.
Go on.
I don't know if this is true. Can you check this out for us? Apparently, Wolfsburg have made an inquiry about Quadway Baah that has been rejected. I'm not sure how much there is into that, but apparently, it could be a troll account. Who knows?
Have a look.
But apparently, that's come from Fabrizio. An inquiry for Quadway Baah.
Clearly,
no, I can't see anything
quite
myself.
reliable. No, let's have a look.
Not on X.
Could be anywhere. Let me have a look at his Twitter. That might help.
This is the problem with deadline day. You get about 50 accounts who you know, you say things and you don't know quite what to believe, but apparently that's what he said according to Melanie.
Let's have a look.
Apparently we've made a sign-in. Hold on.
Yeah, I think that's youth. I've just seen that myself, looking through Fabrizio's
I'll share my
accounts.
screen. Just give me one moment. I'm just going to find out this information for you.
No problem. I'll just have
So
a
here
quick
we
look
go,
at this.
Fabrizio Romano with a exclusive here. I'm just going to share my screen so everyone can see. Just give me one moment, guys.
So
here we go. So Fabrizio Romano on Twitter with a exclusive story. Travis Akamia leaves Chelsea and joins Watford on a permanent deal. Agreement done. 3-year contract signed today with the Hornets. George, I don't know who this player is or what position he plays, but Fabrizio has just put that out. So let's take a quick look at this guy. So he's represented England at under 16, 17 and under 18 level. He's made 4 appearances for the Chelsea under 18s, and he was a regular for the under 18 side in the UEFA Youth League. Yeah, an interesting one. Breaking news here. It's caught me by surprise, actually. I hope this isn't the player, George, that we've been linked with today. I hope there is someone else coming in.
Don't think it will be, because it looks more of a youth academy.
So it's a centre-back, apparently. So it's a centre-back, George. 194 centimetres, 19 years old, born in London, and he joins from Chelsea on a 3-year deal.
I'm hoping that's a youth academy signing. Because if they've just said, oh, yeah, we're expecting another English player, and it's that's a bit disappointing. If you scroll, are you on his main Twitter page?
So this is Fabrizio's Twitter account, correct? Yeah.
If you scroll down a little bit further down, you'll see the Baah tweets.
Will I? Okay, hold on.
Yes, he's just past this one. Keep going. There it is. Hang on. Up a little bit more. I think it's just before. So you go Asensio, then you got the AC Milan, and then you got the Baah
Asensio,
one.
Napoli.
Keep going up. I think it's this one here. Keep going. After the Chelsea one, I believe. Yeah, there it is.
Wow.
Wolfsburg.
Okay, so breaking news: Fabrizio Romano. Wolfsburg have made an inquiry from with Watford over Baah after 5 goals and 3 assists in the Championship this season. Baah is considered non-transferable by Watford. The proposal has been rejected. So breaking news from Fabrizio Romano. Wow, George, I was not expecting Baah to be involved in a transfer saga today, but here we go. Watford rejecting that deal. We don't know what the fee was. But George, your immediate thoughts on Baah to Wolfsburg?
Worrying. Very worrying. Even whatever transfer fee we get, I think is a bit late to even look at a replacement. So I think the smartest decision that they can do is keep away. Even better news, give him a new contract, keep him on our books, because he's actually beneficial to us, and that will be a big loss if he actually goes.
Wow, I'm stunned. I wasn't expecting to.
No,
I said to George before
not.
we started, I said it'll be interesting if we get any breaking news during the stream. And there we go. Fabrizio Romano, arguably the most reliable transfer journalist in world football, saying that once again, Wolfsburg have made an inquiry to Watford over Baah after 5 goals and 3 assists in 29 appearances this season. Baah is considered non-transferable by Watford. The proposal has been rejected. I'd be interested to see if Fabrizio announces later today what that proposed fee was for Baah. But yeah, in terms of Baah, George, what would you value him at in the transfer market? Because for me, I'd say in terms of attacking output, it's been more important than Georgie this season. I'd be looking for well over £20 million for Baah at this stage if he was to leave today.
I mean, if you go at today's market and the what's the word I'm looking for? The valuableness, if that's a word, he is to our team. It would be more. It would be double digits. It would be more than 10, 15 million just to keep him away. Because I know we signed him for about where is it? I think we signed him on a free, didn't we? So whatever profit, whatever fee we get from him, it's a profit anyways, and that's what the positives are about. Unfortunately, they don't base it off what we need. They base off, does it give us more money in the future? So I'm surprised they've rejected an inquiry from Wolfsburg. To be fair, if anything, that's probably a smart decision as well.
And obviously the other news we've just heard from Fabrizio once again, Travis Akamia from Chelsea, a centre-back who played at youth level for Chelsea, has signed for Watford on a 3-year deal as well. So, yeah, lots to dive into. There's a Fabrizio tweet once again around Quadway Baah. I'll give that a cheeky retweet as well. Yeah, it's just interesting. Reacting to breaking news, it is very exciting on transfer deadline day. Who is this mystery player, George? Andrew French said earlier, we are expecting an English player to join from another English club. Was that Chelsea guy? Or as you said earlier, do you think that will still be someone else? Because we are, we're stacked in that centre-back area already as it is. We've got Ogbonna, Sierralta, Pollock, Abankwah and Caben all competing for them centre-back positions.
I'm hoping it's... Really, should we be looking at the League One market? Is one another one? I know that people obviously we need the Championship experience, but to be fair, I can't pinpoint a name. If it's not a striker, is it a midfielder? Because we need a midfielder as well. But I can't put a name down on who it could be. I can't work out. I think someone tweeted probably. Although he is from Cyprus, someone mentioned Kyprianou, but I can't see that being the one.
No,
Again,
this is one that's rumbled on for such a long time now, Hector Kyprianou. He would solve our defensive midfield issues, wouldn't he, George? But it looks like, the rumours was after Swansea sold Matt Grimes that Kyprianou would be going to Swansea, although I'm not sure how that's developed today. If anyone in the live chat could let us know. There's so many of you tuning in now after this news of Quadway Baah has broken. Obviously, as you can see on your screen now, we've got the tweet from Fabrizio Romano about Travis Akamia leaving Chelsea and joining Watford on a permanent deal on a 3-year contract. Another centre-back. We need reinforcements in attacking areas, George. We need, a winger. Ideally, we need a striker. What are your thoughts on the striker situation? You were at the game this weekend. You saw Bayo turn into Anthony Joshua and get his red card.
Yeah.
We've got Mamadou Doumbia, George, for the next 3 games in the Championship. He can't do it on his own. He's an 18-year-old Malayan international who's had very little experience in English football. He's new to the country. He's new to the culture. And to have him leading the line against, top quality opposition is going to be a tough task for him.
Yeah, every time he's come on and I've been at the game, I think he's played pretty much all of the times that I've been watching live. He's looked, don't get me wrong, he's looked all right, bright, something different, something there to cause an issue for defenders. But I think his physicality, he's tiny. In terms of his strength, I think he's a bit too weak, like he needs to get pushed over. I think
George,
I don't know.
Stop you there. I've got breaking news around who our new player could be. So this is as per Luorns on Twitter. Obviously, Luorns is a very reliable Watford insider account. I'm just going to bring it up on the screen here. So Henry Bennett from WD18, as per Luorns, this is apparently the player we are bringing in from Fulham. He's a winger, 21 years old. Marshall Godo spent last season on loan at Wigan, came on against Watford in the Emirates FA Cup and was only playing non-league football with Margate a few years ago. And this is the tweet from Luorns here. He said Marshall Godo is currently being spoken to, and it's all down to Fulham at this stage. The breaking news around the winger we're potentially bringing in, George, I've never seen him play, but your immediate reaction to that news?
It's an attacker. We need an attacker, so I'll take it. Never heard of the guy. It's one of those. It's annoying because it's like, it's not like a Championship goal scorer we can talk about and go, it'd be really good. Hopefully, he's all right. Like it's cover for Varta and Baah, especially that they're sort of not fully fit. So if he's good, I'll have him. I won't be against that at all.
So that looks like that could be our player then. So as it stands, it seems like from what we're hearing from Luons on Twitter that Watford and Fulham are in negotiations with Godo at the moment. Whether it goes ahead, we don't know. But it's a 21-year-old winger from Fulham, as per Luons. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, interesting stuff. Roberto here, quick question for you two guys. Who do we want to win tonight, Borough or Sunderland, for the sake of Watford's table position? Considering we're playing Sunderland next, what do I want to happen in that game, George? Do you want a Sunderland loss for them to claim revenge in the next game?
Well,
I don't know.
I'm looking at the table now. If goal difference doesn't help them in the slightest. If Sunderland win, they go level on points with Burnley, but goal difference doesn't put them up in third. Middlesbrough just outside the playoffs. If they win, they go fifth. So again, it's championship. Could be absolutely anyone. Absolutely anyone. But if anything, it won't do us any favours. The more they win, the more we lose, the more we fall down the table and we lose track of playoffs. But I don't think that's our target anymore, considering the situation we're in. It's a shame, but that's what the ownership have done, unfortunately.
I'm just looking into this Marshall Godo now, and there's not too much information about him. He's not had too many minutes for Fulham either. He can play, it seems like, in any position across the front line, but primarily on the left. He's got a current market value, according to Transfermarkt, of £600,000. He's contracted to Fulham until 2028. He can play for England and the Ivory Coast at international level. And yeah, as we saw via Henry Bennett on Twitter there in Luons, he was playing only for Margate just a couple of seasons ago. A random link there, George, really. But yeah, we'll see how that develops over the course of the evening. We'll keep going here live for about 15 minutes or so if any other news develops. I know WD18 are live at 8 p.m, so I don't want to go into their slot, and I'm sure Jacob and Charlie will have some good insights on there as well. Pog Alfie says, can't we play Vata at striker? Cards Madman says, we want Rajovic back now. There was discussions about Rajovic, George, potentially being recalled. Is that something you would have been on board with, or are you not a huge Mileta Rajovic fan personally yourself?
I mean, kind of need a striker. I know his agent isn't too fond of a certain someone at the club. I won't say who.
Me and you know that very well, George.
Exactly. Unfortunately, I had a little message from him, and I was like, "Oh, a bit sceptical." I won't say much more because I don't want to spread anything that I'm not 100% on, so I'll leave it there. But again, it's down to what the board want and what the agent thinks. Because if the agent's not too fond of someone, then I don't think it will happen in the slightest. So it's I wouldn't be against it because he's like a. What's the word I'm looking for? B-Tech Haaland, in the way that he doesn't score from anywhere else par the 6-yard box. I guess he's just not as clinical, but can't be any worse than Baah, surely.
No, WD18 are actually live at 9, so if George wants to shoot off at any point, he can do. I think I may stay on till about 8 p.m, just in case anything happens. George, if you need to go before then, do just let me know, of course. So yeah, WD18 live at 9, so look forward to that. I'm sure they'll have information on one of Watford's potential new signings. In terms of, the transfer window success, George, and how good it's been, this has to be up there as one of the worst January transfer windows I've ever seen Watford have. It's got to be.
I think it's the worst in my lifetime.
Yeah, in our lifetimes, we can say, because we're both quite young. I mean, there might have been worse in previous years.
I don't know if there was any worse with Bassini in charge. Maybe he spent some money but didn't really pay with it well. But in my lifetime, I think this is probably the worst in terms of where we are and where we'll be. Considering where we were at New Year's to now, doesn't add up. It's gone down instead of up. So it's Yeah, we've had better windows, even though we don't do much from January transfer windows. We've had better. It's a shame.
Right, so there's an update here from Lou Orns again around this deal. I'm just going to bring it up on the screen for you now. So this all involves a bit of a transfer. It's almost like when you move house, you have to wait for someone to move house before you can then move in. So Fulham have approached AC Milan to sign Samuel Chukwueze, and negotiations are ongoing between all parties. Lou Orns, of course, a very reliable Watford account. He said if this deal happens, then Martial Godo will move to Watford for the remainder of the season on loan. So we're waiting on another deal, George, to happen before this winger can move to Watford, which again is quite frustrating because it could all fall through if it goes wrong.
Yeah, surprised that Samuel Chukwueze? Because I
Yeah.
recognise that name from the former Villarreal player. Caught up with that. Good signing for Fulham. If they can get that done, then we'll happily take this Godo guy. So it's a case of hopefully it works in our favour. Otherwise, we haven't got really long left to look elsewhere, do we? So it's hopefully we've got someone else, but hopefully that's not the case. Because I'm just looking now at the Travis Akomea, if I've said
Yeah.
that wrong. Andrew French has confirmed he's an under 21 player, thankfully.
So he's going to be signing for the under 21.
Yeah.
So let's just get Andrew French's blog up here. Is that where he confirmed it, George? Or was it on his?
Yes,
on
on Twitter. Yeah.
Okay,
yes.
let's take a look at that.
Apparently, he's
George,
one of our old centre backs anyway, so we've just re-signed him. Apparently,
really, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it says our old academy centre back. They signed him from us 3 years ago. We've just signed him back. Is what the ones just said.
And yet Andrew French has confirmed that he's not the player that we've been waiting for all day. So it does seem like this Fulham winger is potentially the player we're waiting on. Quite underwhelming for me, George. Really, I was like, we've had so many rumours throughout this transfer window, the likes of Dennis Iheanacho, Dennis Dragus, lots and lots of attacking players, and to end up with this, with this Fulham winger who's looks like a young promising player, but he's not had much senior football. It's an underwhelming signing, but judging by the brief things I've seen, why I'm on stream, it looks like he's a powerful runner, kind of similar to Baah, and maybe that's what Tom Clever's looking for, a powerful runner to fill the void of Baah while he's injured.
I think that is someone we've been missing since Baah's been injured. Someone that you can not necessarily start, but bring on when the opposition's legs are tired, because he can easily just run at you in the hopes that they make a mistake in the box and we win a penalty. Because Baah's done it quite a few times this season. I mean, we got a penalty against Sunderland. He caused problems for Middlesbrough. Obviously, these are very early in the season, but it's a tactic, but it's a situation that Tom Cleverley's looked at and gone, this will work, depending on the likelihood of the players against us. It'll be a good signing if he can use that asset again with this Fulham player. So if it works, it works.
What did you think of Michael Adipoku's Watford League debut in the final few minutes against Norwich? Because I felt he got bullied off the ball a few times, George, if I'm being honest with you.
Typical Championship. You see a new youngster. Was it his senior debut, was it?
I think he played in the Cup before. But yeah, I think this was his league debut, yeah.
So a team like Norwich are definitely going to be bullying him. It's one of those. He's young. You're going to get bullied in a league like the Championship. Again, he wasn't given much time anyways either, because the game getting stopped and ball in the corner, stuff like that. So he didn't really get much to do. But if he can introduce more young players in, it might not help. But what do you have to work with when the owners don't buy any players for you? So if he has to dip into the academy a bit more, then so be it, because there's nothing else we can do about that.
Okay, I'll just bring this tweet up once again for anyone who's just joining us. So this is the academy player. He left Watford in 2022, George, and he's rejoined here in 2025. So again, George, an example of, a big club coming in to poach a young player. It doesn't quite work out. And then ultimately, he's rejoined Watford. So yeah, a strange one.
Yeah, well, clearly the club think he's good enough for the academy. Maybe if he needs to be called upon for the senior team, then so be it. Because you never know, injuries might come bite us again. Because we've got quite a few at the minute. So if worst case happens, we'll have to look into the academy again. But again, if it gets poached by a big club, then it gets poached by a big club. Can't do much about it, unfortunately. That's the sad side to football when your youth academies, they all get snapped up.
Ballum here says apparently Blackburn are signing Dennis from Nottingham Forest. I'm not sure how reliable that is. Apparently Fabrizio has just tweeted that, so I'll take a look. Breaking news apparently around Emmanuel Dennis. Let's take a look here.
Yeah, they
Obviously,
have
been heavily rumoured with Watford. And yeah, let's get this up on the screen now. So breaking news around former Watford player Emmanuel Dennis. What are you drinking there, George? Is that a Pepsi or a Coke?
Coke Zero.
Lovely. You're on a diet, are you?
Best flavour.
Lovely. I'm a Sprite or 7-Up man myself, I have to say.
Same thing, innit?
Here we go. So here we go. Exclusive from Fabrizio Romano. Exclusive. Blackburn Rovers agree a deal to sign Emmanuel Dennis from Nottingham Forest. Massive transfer there for Blackburn Rovers. Ultimately competing with Watford in the Championship at the moment. It feels frustrating to lose out on that one, George.
Yeah, I mean, would it be smart to bring a player back for a third round?
Well, it's far better than vacuum Baah. That's all I'm saying.
Not exactly the hardest challenge. No disrespect to Baah. He doesn't really do himself any favours, especially over the weekend. I take Dennis. I know a lot of people don't. There are quite a few people online that don't want to take him. But he can't be. We know he's not any worse than what we've already got.
I'm just going to grab my phone. Keep on talking, George.
No problem. It's just a shame that he's off to what looks to be Blackburn. A big loss. Again, same as Iheanacho, Emmanuel Dennis. Who's the other one we missed out on? And he went to another championship club?
Dennis Dragas, I think he was playing over in Turkey, wasn't he?
That's the other one. Yeah, it's not ideal.
Yeah, sorry, I've just got my phone here just in case more stuff comes through. George, if you do need to shoot off, just please do say, because I'm not sure how long I'll be live here now. I'm quite enjoying all these transfer rumours coming through.
I'm off work at the minute, so I'll take it.
Melanie says Dennis is Marmite, but you love him. Roberto says, he was a bad influence in the dressing room. I don't know where this has come from, George, that Dennis was a bad influence in the dressing room. I've seen lots of people say it over the past months and years. Is there any evidence actually to suggest he was, a bad influence, or is it just nonsense from what you understand?
To be fair, the season we went down, 2020, 21, 22, I think it was. Yes. It got a bit sour to the end. Well, it's sour all season. Got sour towards the end of the year. Obviously, you had like Sissoko leaving. You had. We didn't lose much players that summer. I think. Would you say he was a bad influence on the dressing room when he took a pay cut to join us a second time?
Absolutely not. If anything, for me, that shows a sign of love for the club.
Yeah, it's the type of player you want. If because again, I'd take him. I think Cleverley would be the type of manager to calm him down a bit. If he's a bad influence, then why are we going back in for him? That doesn't make sense to me at all. But what we got to work with, really.
So Watford play Blackburn Rovers on the 26th of April. So they've signed Emmanuel Dennis. Middlesbrough, they signed, didn't they sign Kelechi Iheanacho? So we've got to play them as well. So, all these strikers that Watford have been rumoured with, George, we're going to have to play over the course of the next few weeks. And we're left with, Vacuum Baah, who, let's be honest, isn't good enough. And unfortunately, an 18-year-old, Mamadou Doumbia. So, yeah, all the teams around us, doing great business, it seems. And Watford are left with what looks like are the scraps from Fulham, really. Yeah, not great.
We always need to be signing scraps.
Yeah, I mean, even looking back at the summer window, George, I mean, The only real success in the summer window was Rocco Batta, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, most of our summer transfers, anyways, have gone. Um, like I said to you a couple of days ago, probably the best summer window we've had in God knows how long. Clearly, obviously, that's
Well,
been strong,
let's
strong
count. So
sarcasm.
Jebuson's gone.
Yep, that was summer.
Festi's
He's
gone.
gone. Yep,
Tikvich is gone, albeit out on loan.
yep.
Um, then we've got we've got Jebuson, Tikvich, Festi, Kaki Almeida. He's gone on a free transfer.
That was a strange one. That again came out the blue.
Yeah.
Didn't feature for us at all. I think he made a bench appearance once. I could be horribly wrong.
Didn't Was it like a Carabao Cup appearance or something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was one of those bench. We didn't feature at all. Just appeared on the bench, and that was it. I read somewhere that he didn't like the country. Again, could be wrong. If that's the case,
I mean,
fair enough.
it can happen, can't it?
Yeah, a lot of players can do that. I think we made a loss on that transfer as well, which
It's
doesn't
just
help.
another waste of money, isn't it? I think it was €1 million we paid for Almeida, and
And we got about 200 grand back.
yeah, something like that. I mean, it's just insanity, really, how we throw money away, especially when money's so tight as well, George. Anyway, to throw money away on unknown prospects is silly for me.
And you wonder why we're struggling for money, because that stuff like that happens. It's frustrating to see and read. Just had a name pop up, and I'm trying to search reliability on it.
Is this some
shock horror?
Is this some breaking news, George? You've got here.
Not breaking news, but apparently we're also linked to a 17-year-old called Raquelme Felipe. Don't know if
I've seen this pop up before. I think this is from a few troll accounts.
Yeah,
I'm just going to try and get someone else on here as well, if possible, on the
no
stream.
problem.
But yeah,
I'm just going to search it up. Raquelme Felipe. See how. I've got a feeling I've been trolled by the We Are Watford FC Twitter account again.
He's been at it all afternoon, George.
He's been at it all day. I mean, I'm in a group chat with the guy. He's been at it the entire way. But if he was just trolling me,
someone made up the Jaden Dan's rumor as well from Liverpool, and I tell you what, people are very gullible, George, because that got a lot of traction.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? One rumor and everyone loses their mind over it, thinking it's real. I mean, the other one is the George Hurst one from Ipswich real? I haven't seen anything like that again.
No,
fake. Yeah, fake. I wish it was true, because he'd probably actually do quite well.
His quality is quality, to be fair. I mean, Al Hamadi. I mean, hasn't he? Where's he moved to now? He's moved to another Championship club.
Stoke City scored his debut on the weekend.
Scored the other day, and that's a player we've been linked with in previous transfer windows as well. It's just so immensely frustrating.
Yeah, it's especially with, where would I put it? Our top goal scorer being vacuumed by how he scored 10, I don't know.
But George, with Baah, he's actually only scored, I know he scored the 10 goals, but he's only contributed in actually 5 games. So when you break down his actual goals, he's not actually done.
That's right.
It's just, I think the 4 goals against Wednesday kind of inflate that figure, really.
Yeah, because saying that, he'd be on 6 goals if it weren't for that, and that's less than Edo Kembe.
Yeah. You're a big fan of Kayembe, George, aren't you?
Yeah. When he scores, he's lovely, but sometimes
I always see you popping up in his Instagram comments. I feel like you've got like a love for Kayembe.
Just whenever during the August, September, October, whenever I went to a Watford game, he'd always score. Must be an omen. An omen that hasn't happened in a while.
Goals in 24 appearances.
Is that this season as well?
Well, that must be in his last 24? I don't know. I'm not sure.
He scored against West Brom at the start of December. That was a brace.
Was that the scorpion kick goal?
Yeah, he scored in the first half and scored just after the break in the second half. I think the second one was actually quite a good header for his quality. But yeah, I'm just looking at our goal scorers at the minute and our assists, actually our playmakers. Trafford Tadzia has 6 assists, and then Matty Pollock with 4, a defender, which goes to show how not really creative we are in the midfield, and it's worrying. Yeah, and then again, goal scorers: Baah with 10, Eddie Kembe with 7, and Tom Ince and Quadro Baah with 5.
Well, yeah.
Not
I
really
mean, Tom
scoring
Ince,
many.
didn't he score the hatch? Didn't he get a hat trick against Plymouth? Or
Uh,
MK Dons? MK
MK
Dons.
Dons, yeah, the
Yeah.
5-0.
Yeah.
2000. That was a shock for everyone. They just came out of
Quality
nowhere.
goal against Man City as well, George, to be fair. Tom
Yeah,
Ince.
another game I was working.
Do you think Tom Ince should play more in this Watford team, George?
I'm pretty sure he can play striker. I know that him. I'm not saying he should, but now that we're short at striker, do we give it to Tom Ince until Baah's back, Bayo's back, or Baah? Because Baah again can play a false 9 role. He's not much of an out-and-out striker, but he can sort of run in deep, pull it back that way. Again, we're working with scraps. It's quite hard to talk about because we haven't got much quality there. I know that people usually, recently I've seen a lot of people complain about Chakatadzi's end product. Yes, it's a concern, but he gets us forward. Yeah,
should have scored that chance against Norwich, though, George. The one in front of the rookery I'm talking about.
Yes.
You know where he dragged it back, and I think he passed to Kayembe, and then he fired over.
Yeah, I know exactly. Yeah, I think is it confidence? I don't know what it could be. I don't know why he'd be lacking confidence because for me, he's probably one of the most beneficial for us in terms of getting the ball and just running forward because that's all I ever see him do.
I've sent a couple of people a message to see if they want to pop on. If they don't respond by about 8 p.m, then we'll end the stream there as the news
not a problem.
Seems to have died down in the past few minutes. I'm sure this Fulham deal may be pushed through in the final hour or two. George, if people wanna find you on socials, where can they follow you and what you do?
They can find me on Instagram. It'll be Watford_FC News. I'm also on Twitter, same handle. I'd say TikTok, but I haven't really posted on there. Pretty useless. If you want to see some awful edits, go over there. But my main platform is Instagram. That's where I've been for the last 7 years now.
Well over 8,000 followers now, George, on there, aren't you?
Yes, I am. Climbing, which is a first, really, because when your team loses, it sort of slows down, doesn't it? But at the minute, both of us are actually doing quite well.
Apparently going from 19-year-old midfielder Tyrese Hall from Spurs. Where have you heard that, Josh? Let us know.
I saw that rumour just before we went live, and I couldn't spell his name right or find him. Tyrese Hall.
Is it from a reputable outlet, George, would you say? If it is, we'll get it up on the screen.
Because I've only seen that name from someone saying, I've seen a rumour of this player.
Oh, right.
I haven't seen a news outlet of him. Let me put...
No, we need it from an outlet. We don't need people saying they saw him down Sainsbury's, they saw him down Watford Leisure Centre, they saw him at Potwell.
I saw him at the pond.
Saw him at the pond. We don't need any of that. We need reputable information.
All we know is it's not a striker. That is all we know.
What's your go-to Greg's order, George? Do you fancy a nice little steak bake, do you?
Usually a sausage roll, or if I need something for lunch, I'll go for their Mexican baguette. I think they do.
That's nice. That is nice, actually. Yeah, I've had that before.
Pretty expensive now, though. Sausage roll is about £1.60 or something now. It's like
I thought they were about 120, weren't they? They were
99p before COVID. What's happened here? So, it'll be a Mexican baguette and a Lucozade. That would be my go-to order.
Interesting. Let us know your Greg's order in the live chat as well. So many of you tuning in. I mean, we're actually exceeding, watch along numbers here, which is fantastic. Make sure you subscribe to the channel by clicking the button below as well. I don't know what George is looking at over there, but it seems quite interesting.
Football.
Has it kicked off?
Yes, they're showing a stand. Thing. I don't know. I'd show you, but you might get shut down. So I'm not going to move my.
Don't want to get copyrighted. Thank you very much. But Yeah,
Yeah, it's just
interesting.
started. It looks like a light show. Typical.
There's a Premier
Everyone does
League
light
game
shows.
today as well, isn't there? What's the? Let me look this up
Chelsea,
quickly.
West Ham, I believe.
Oh, is it? That's quite a big game actually.
Saying that, I'd watch that. Where is that?
I got
There it is.
I got
Monday
sent a
Night Football.
message I got sent a message from someone who offered me tickets to go and watch West Ham Leicester in a couple of weeks on like a random Thursday night. So I don't know if I'll take them up on that offer, but yeah, I've never been to I've been to the London Stadium twice. Once for the Paralympics, fun fact. My auntie took me when I was very young, and then the second time I went.
Before that extension as well.
The second time I went was for. Do you remember the comeback win where Dini and Igalo scored at the London Stadium? I was there for that game as well.
2016, that was.
I think it was Walter Mazzari, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So those are the
Valon
two times I've
Barami,
been.
those types of players. Valon Barami, bloody hell.
What a guy! He was a proper defensive midfielder. He was, George.
He was the Juraj Kuchka before the Juraj Kuchka that we knew when he came.
I'll take him back right now, Kuchka.
Can't be any worse than Sissoko. I cannot stand that bloke. I'll be absolutely honest. I think a lot of people can agree with me. He is diabolical. And how he has the armband, I don't know.
Well, he may be watching. So, Musa, if you are watching, I hope you're well. But
I don't mean it personally.
I think you've lost your legs slightly, Musa. I've got to say. Oh, dear. Jeff says just joined. What's the latest? So it looks like Jeff Watford are in for a winger from Fulham. Marshall Godo, we believe his name is, or at least how you pronounce it. And then we've also re-signed Akamiya, I think is how you say it potentially. A former Watford Academy player. We've signed him on a 3.5-year deal for the Academy. Apparently Watford have just posted that on Twitter. So we'll go and
they have 3.5-year deal for the youth
Watford's
team.
Official confirmation here.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, Holibas scored. That was a good goal.
Yes, the Watford FC Academy account have just posted, so we'll bring you this news here. So defender Travis Akamiya has rejoined the Young Hornets, signing on a 3.5-year deal from Chelsea. So there we go. That deal is all sorted. Lovely stuff. Holibas scored. He did. Oh yeah, that's in reference to the West Ham comeback, George.
Just having a look at the Watford Observer live. Travis Akamiya definitely in the camera signing. Goods. Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing. So do you reckon the Fulham winger, George?
Oh, actually, just before. Someone asked Andrew. Andrew asked, I'd take Rajovic back. Does he have to be recalled today also? Andrew said he won't be coming back. So we're not going to have Rajovic back.
Interesting. An interesting choice of words there from Andrew French. So repeat that for us, George, one more time. So what was the question posed to Andrew?
So a person called Gilly Gilmore. Great name. Andrew, I take Rajovic back. Does he have to be recalled today also? Andrew responded with a short but simple, he won't be coming back.
Wow.
So I think that's... is it ideal? I don't know.
Just to see if I've got a message back from someone here. Just give me one moment. This is the joys of going live on a day like this.
Quick response to Roberto, the Hornet. Are we going to buy a striker? I really hope so. It's confirmed that we're not.
It's always been, it's always been the case that we're going for a winger this transfer window, hasn't it?
Yeah. It's after the Norwich performance, before the Norwich game, we didn't, but we did need a striker, but we now definitely need a striker. Is it true that Baah's out for 3 games because of the straight red?
Yeah, so the straight red, unless Watford appeal, George, you were in the rookery, you probably didn't have a great view of the incident. I was looking at the incident and I didn't even see it happen, so I'm clearly blind. I go to Specsavers, but
I'm surprised my mate next to me had service. He actually rolled up an illegal stream to have a look. Because obviously it's so far back.
Allegedly, we should say.
Allegedly, yeah. He pulled up some random stream on his phone. I just thought I'd watch. Had the replay and he punched him. I think it was to his throat. It was sort of there's a lot of screenshots where it shows him pushing his chest, but that's as he's falling. You don't push someone as they're falling. It did look like he pushed him by the throat.
I
I
mean,
don't know
to
if
me,
it was a
it
fist
looks
or what.
like the definition of violent conduct. You know, if Watford appealed, I think the appeal
Yeah.
would get rejected, wouldn't it?
Yeah, agreed. Very much agreed. And it's just stupid from Baah. I don't know what was said, but I don't know why. I don't know what sort of thought process he went through to do it. But
No.
unfortunately, that is footballers losing their heads.
What position does Godo play? Says Jeff. Is I think he's a left winger, isn't he? When we just checked him out a few minutes ago.
Could you have a look?
So yeah, what does that? Is he going to be a depth option? Is he going to start? We don't know at this stage. At the moment, Watford are still waiting on Fulham to complete a deal from AC Milan before we can get Martial Godo to join the club. It seems, according to various people on social media. So Carlo King saying the red card might get overturned. I doubt it. I really doubt
we
that.
can dream. We can dream. That's just hope.
To be honest, George, I hope it doesn't. In my hearts of hearts.
I'll agree with you on that one, actually. I will agree on you with that.
Would you agree that actually we had a bigger goal threat in the second half with Kayembe up front than we did with Baah? Is that like a hot take I'm saying there, or am I being an idiot?
Considering we kept running down the left and the right, because Sissoko for some reason was playing right wing, which confused the hell out of me. Again, I said it earlier, we didn't do too badly with 10 men. And I think Cleverley also said it in a press conference. And a lot of people have actually said it. We didn't play badly. It's a case of, for some reason, we're a team. We've always been a team, exactly, really, that doesn't seem to understand how to not get rattled, if that's the word I'm looking for. Because, unfortunately, we just keep getting rattled by the stupidest things ever and making stupid decisions.
Carlo King says Baah is the worst Watford player of all time. I wouldn't go that far.
Wouldn't go all time, but he's up there.
Ozan Tufan's certainly up there for me. In fact, George, I was having my hair cut about a week or so ago. I mean, it doesn't look like it now because it looks awful. But I went to my local Turkish barber and he was like, "Oh, who do you support?" And I was like, "Watford." And then we started talking about Ozan Tufan, and he basically just said that he loved eating food, he was overweight, and I had to agree because, Tufan. I mean, he did all right at Hull City actually when he joined there, but at Watford he just looked absolutely atrocious.
Is he still there now?
Hull
City.
You know what? I'm not sure. I'm gonna have a quick Google.
Is it? Am I correct in saying he played against us at the start of the? No, I'm horribly wrong. That was last year.
So
I think he's gone.
I
think it was last year. He missed a penalty in front of the Rookery.
Is it Trabzonspor, George?
That makes sense. Yeah.
He joined Trabzonspor on July the 1st last summer.
So he's gone. Oh, fair enough. Shame. He can get a hairline transplant if he wants. That's the main thing.
So he was at Hull City, then Fenerbahce, and then prior to that he was at Watford. So interesting. Right, we'll probably start to wrap up here. I mean, unless you guys want us to carry on for a little bit longer. But we'll probably start to wrap up. Over 50 of you tuning in, which is massive numbers here for us on the channel. So please do subscribe down below and go and check George out as well on Instagram at is it at Watford_FC News? Is that right?
Yes.
I don't know where the underscore comes.
It'll be Watford_FC News.
Okay.
Don't know why I did it in the first place, but it's stuck with ever since, so I'm not changing it. Can't change that now.
A few people saying carry on. Mark Schofield saying his comments getting ignored. Absolutely not, Mark. There's just lots to get through. I do apologise if you feel that way. I mean, I'll carry on myself. George is free to leave whenever he wishes to.
I don't mind staying. I've got nothing better to do. I've got a week off work at the minute.
As long as you've got a nice cold beverage next to you, then.
No, I'm all right.
I'll stay live as long as possible. I know WD18 are live at 9, so I'll stay live. But 9 now, yeah.
9 now. That's all right.
So I don't want to clash with them because, they are.
Keep that window open.
Watford content creators. I don't know if they're going on until the deadline. I'm not too sure, but as it stands currently, Watford may have to go right up to the deadline if we're to get this winger signed from Fulham.
Just having a look at his comment. Yeah, That
So
is the
Mark
exact
said
comment I was
Sissoko was
reading.
good on the right. He used to play there for Spurs. We were down to 10, so he was asked to play there. I think he put in a better performance there than he did in kind of his midfield role, George.
Yeah, well, to be fair, what baffles, I could be completely waffling here. I've always noticed when we play, he's always further forward than loser. I feel like it should be the other way around. Because again, Suzuko's slow, and the fact that Cleverley trusted him to play was it 80? About 45 minutes at right wing. Can't do much worse, really, can you? Again, I'm not a fan of Sissoko, but he did what was asked, and we didn't concede. So could be 10 times worse.
Confirmation here from Middlesbrough. Kelechi Iheanacho has joined there on loan from Sevilla until the end of the season. So it looks like he was going to be joining Watford at some points. In fact, there were some tweets, even late last week saying that Watford were close to agreeing a deal. And as per that tweet from the Middlesbrough official account, he has signed for them. A bit similar to Dennis George, that one, probably lacking fitness, both Nigerian, of course, as well. But he has quality. We've all watched him at Leicester City. He was previously at Man City as well, quite a while ago. And I feel like if Borough and Michael Carrick can kind of get him firing, he'll probably be quite a dangerous player in this division.
Knowing our luck, he will definitely score against us.
When do we play them? It's not.
It's this month.
Sunderland.
I think Sunderland, Leeds, then them.
Yeah.
And then Luton.
Right. Okay.
So, I'm putting. I might put my life savings on Iheanacho to score against us because
yes.
it's the most popular
I know you
thing
love a
to be
cheeky
linked to
bet,
them.
George, don't you?
Always lose them.
Always you won any big bets recently?
No.
You're not one Super Six then, no.
I keep forgetting to do that. I'll be honest.
I saw some bloke won $100,000 the other day. Actually,
to be fair, I think it's all just pure bluff. You just guess. I mean, who guesses a 7-0 against Nottingham Forest against Brighton? I don't know how.
I don't know what result that was. By the way, I've removed George. Hold on, let's get him back. There we go.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, massive result. And what's going on with Brighton at the moment? Brighton are a bit up and down, aren't they, in terms of kind of their form? Obviously, João Pedro is there as well, formerly of Watford. They're a bit hit and miss, Brighton.
I can't. To be fair, I'm not going to pronounce his name right. I think it's Hertzler, the manager. He's like 38.
Fabian Hertzler, that's right, isn't it?
That's the one. Yeah, that's the one. A lot of the fans aren't really sure what system he plays. I could be wrong because I'm in a little group with I don't know if you know TSR. It's like a little similar to like it's like similar to the 92 Bible and Hub Football, which is big groups. So I'm with the TSR, and there's a Brighton fan in there, and he wasn't really fond of Hertzler's, as they call it, Hertzler ball. I mean, losing 7-0 doesn't really help at all. And I don't really know how they would replace him. Do you think so? Replace Batman? Yes.
Yes, I think in the long term, George, I think we'll get to the summer transfer window and Batman will probably be on it. I bet his AirPods have your AirPods gone?
No, they're there. They just keep falling out.
I know. I'll tell you what, I was doing my Christian Capicele interview and every 5 minutes I kept having to readjust them. That's why I've got my beats on today, George.
I treated myself to some new ones and just get some used to, but they fit better than my old ones, that's for sure.
I think you need. Did yours come with the changeable sizes so you can change?
No, I can't. I don't know if it's some sort of ADHD I've got, but I don't like the little rubber bits, so I went for the smaller case. It's a lot wider.
Oh, that's my one. I've got the Pro 2.
Yeah. Got you. They were a lot more, and I was like, I won't spend that much.
Well, they're lucky for me. They were a nice Christmas gift from someone.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Free AirPods, not bad at all.
Not bad. What's going on the TV, George? Give us an update.
10 minutes in, 0-0. Nicholas Jackson on the ball.
Okay. Bit of live
bit.
commentary here from George. Loving this.
Try to see what they're doing here. Crossing the box. That is a heavy. Oh no, nothing. Really heavy ball on the cross, and really heavy cross on the ball. Nothing came with it.
Okay.
You get the idea. 1 second. No. Anyways, moving on. Rubbish football game here, guys. Rubbish football game.
What jacket are you wearing there, George? And give us like a fashion rundown. Like where's that from? Is that
I am the last person you want fashion from. This is just
sorry.
I've got a new habit of buying sweatshirts with a quarter zip. This is Slazenger, if anyone wants to know. I don't know where you got it from. The best place for quarter zips, Uniqlo. That's where you want to go.
Do you go to the one Watford Town Centre, do you?
Still can't work my way around it, but I'll say Uniqlo. Yeah. Review the Arcade Pro. It's a bit loud. That's the problem. I turn it on, but it needs to load up and it's a bit loud. And
what's he talking about, George? Am I being an idiot?
That little thing there, look. It's a bit loud. It's like the games room. If I was to move my camera towards the TV, you'd see a what's the word? Fruit machine.
Nice.
So no, there's not real money in it.
That's been an ongoing project for you. Your kind of man cave room, hasn't it?
I think we started it in June, finished it in August. Yeah. Took about 6 weeks.
Yeah.
But we finished it off with a signed shirt that I gave my dad for Christmas. Although it took longer than Christmas Day.
Is that up on the wall, George?
That is up on the wall. If I was to move the TV, because my other position was this way, you'd see it behind me. But because people wanted to protest by standing out the ground singing instead of going in.
Well, George, let's touch on this quickly because it's a controversial subject. And whilst I'm not going to tell people what they can and cannot do, it's something that has to be addressed. Voicing our opinions against this ownership, and me and you, George, are both on the same page. We want Gino Pozzo to leave the club as soon as possible. We don't agree with the way they've operated over the course of, let's say, at least the past 5 years or so, and the financial mismanagement that's happened. In the realms of the law, and sticking within the law, I have to clarify, what do you think should be done at games, before games? Should there be a march from the Red Lion to the corporate entrance? Should people, sing a song on a certain minute? Should we all walk out after a certain amount of time? What's the road you would go down personally? What would you suggest?
Well, first of all, I'm not going to slander what Do Not Scratch Your Eyes did over the weekend, because I can't slander something that I can't find a better idea of. It's a start.
And what? To be fair, I would say there was probably, from where I was sat in the Upper Graham Taylor, I could notice it, and the people around me noticed the lights as well. There's probably, I would say, between 100 to 200 people at most, perhaps, taking part in that.
There was a lot more than I thought there would be. I thought it would be a similar experience to when they tried to do a handkerchief. If I'm not mistaken, I think that was last year. They tried to do like a handkerchief thing. I think only 2 of them did it. I sort of thought in my head, I was like, I'm not going to do it myself. I've been Pozzo out for about 4 years. And a lot of people gave me a lot of stick for it. But I'm not going to slander something that I can't do better on. It's more of a case of great idea. It's a start, but we can't go down the route of throwing a Molotov through Gino Pozzo's bedroom window.
No, we wouldn't condone that, George. Let's just clarify.
Exactly not. I'll put it out there. I've put that idea in the air, but I do not condone it. It's not even an idea. I just thought I'd set an example. It's more of a case of a lot. When we're not a team like Millwall. Let's put it that way. We're not gonna do something stupid and start a fire on a police car or something. You've got to keep it peaceful, like Pete said on Do Not Scratch Your Eyes. You've got to keep it peaceful. You've got to be reasonable with it. And again, yes, we're a family club, but we can't make it toxic. I think that's probably the worst way to do it. The Gino Pozzo get out of our club chants, yes, that works.
Know what? Those Gino Pozzo chants actually started straight after the lights
Exactly.
come on. So it definitely worked in that sense, didn't it?
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, there we go.
That's all right, mate.
It's just one of those where it gets people talking, it gets people ideas to do something better. Because I know you've got like Uncle Ron ripping it off. You've got quite a few pages out there ripping it up, and it's just like, well, if you've got a better idea, tell them because
And I
you've got to
think,
start somewhere.
we've got to start somewhere. And I think once the
Yeah,
right idea comes, and whoever it comes from, I personally I'm not a natural leader. I'm not going to be the person to come up with an idea and run with it. But once we settle on the right idea, and once we all get behind that collective person and that collective idea, that's when we're going to have a real impact. So if we're going to go off in different factions and do different things, it's never going to work. But once we all come
yes,
together behind, one thing, that's where we'll have real impact. And actually, even the emails, George. I know you sent one. It was a very simple thing to do, showing your support for Tom Cleverley. And I think the club received over 1,000 emails. They said Tom had seen
yeah.
them. They said they would make them available to the board as well. So clearly stuff like that, people can do that from home very comfortably. That has a positive impact.
Exactly that. And I mean, again, with the shine your light thing, I had a lot of people message me going, "Oh, I live in Australia. Oh, I live up north. What can I do?" I'm probably not the person to ask, but there's a way fans can get involved, like you said, with the email. Even if we do the email thing again, it gives the admin of Your Voices at watfordfc.com email a
I did
long
feel
day.
sorry for whoever runs that
I
email,
know
by the way.
exactly. I know exactly the person who sent the emails out, and I felt bad for the guy.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it gets people talking, it gets people thinking, and it starts something. Because you even got the coverage on Sky Sports
Yeah, the
from the Shine. Yeah,
commentator
like
mentioned it, didn't they?
if it gets media coverage, it gets people talking, and then even it gets in. The owner sees it. He probably doesn't care, but it's a start. It's one of those where I feel like I don't have a platform like Do Not Scratch Your Eyes to do something like that. So if I have an idea, if you have an idea, give it to them. Because then if they think it's a good idea, don't say, "Oh, we'll throw a Molotov through Gino Pozzo's house." Don't do that. That's bad. Um, a peaceful protest is what people call it. If you have anything like that, let them know, and then they'll probably think about it. Because the more we protest peacefully and the more we do it, the more people see it and the more coverage it gets because it works. We're not Millwall. We're not whatever other club does stupid things. There are other ways of protesting. And that's all
This
I
was
really have to
probably the
say on that.
biggest news from the past hour or so. Wolfsburg making an inquiry for Quadway Bar. I just find that odd. If Wolfsburg were chasing Bar for a period of time, you'd think they would approach Watford earlier in the window. And he's injured for a long time as well, George. It's just a weird one, that, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't remember how long he's out for. When did he got injured at Preston, didn't he? Over the midweek last week. Could be wrong again.
Must have been before that, wasn't it?
Yeah, because I remember. No, it was Preston because he started running and then he stopped and then sat down and was in pain. Um, don't know how long
Was
he
it
was out for.
Sheffield United? Was it?
Might have been, but I feel
Maybe I
like it was
can't.
Preston because it was such a quiet game. I was on my phone the entire time. I think
Oh,
many
because
people
didn't
were.
Loser went off as well, didn't he, in that game as well? It was
Yeah, we had Loser
Loser.
come off. He got away with just a little something in his knee, in his leg. Baah, I didn't think would be too bad, but it turned out to be about a month, maybe 2 months. Varta's just a precaution. That's about it. But we're missing players like him. Varta and Baah, they're all of a sudden two starters, and we're struggling, and it shows. So it's not ideal.
Well, apparently Cucho Hernandez is signing for Real Betis from Fabrizio Romano. Yeah, here we go. 4 minutes ago, former Watford player
Wow.
Cucho Hernandez is signing for Real Betis. So again, really intriguing. Lots of former Watford player movements going on today. We've seen Ismail Kone, I think, make a move earlier as well. Cucho Hernandez, for me, was sold way too early in his Watford career. In that Premier League season, I thought he was quality. The overhead kick against Arsenal was fantastic. And like we do with the majority of these talents, George, we just cashed in, maybe slightly too early.
I mean, I'm just looking at a article from when we sold him, and I'm just trying to find if we had a release clause, not release, yeah, release clause on it, a sell-on clause even, sorry. Just to see if
I
we
saw
get a
someone
percentage of
ask that
such.
question earlier, actually.
Yeah, because again, I think the only upside to Pozzo is he likes to get some profit out of something. Because we signed him in 2016, he didn't feature until 2021.
Wow,
And
was it
obviously
really
made
that
us
long?
yeah. So he went to, let me find his Wikipedia, because I remember him on. This is me being childish here. I remember him on FIFA, and I always sold him. He never featured for us. So he signed in 2017. He went on loan to Huesca in
How
Spain.
much did we sign him for, George? Sorry.
I can tell you. This is funny. We signed him from Granada after Pozzo
Oh God,
sold
here
him.
we go.
So
Right.
he joined us in 2017.
Yeah.
He then was doesn't say what fee, which is frustrating. It probably wouldn't have been much. I'll check transfer marks in a minute.
Mm.
He went to Huesca for 2 years, then went to Mallorca,
Yeah.
and then he went to Getafe when we were in the Championship. He scored 2 goals in 23, and then he joined. He then obviously started against Villa, scored a goal, scored quite a few good goals over that season, and then left for Columbus. How much for? 10 million. So
Is
let
that
me
all? I thought it
find.
was more than that, actually.
He left for $10 million. I'm just having a look now at how much we signed him for. I don't think it was any more than 1 million.
I'm sure
Could
he
be for.
won some sort of award, like best MLS player of the season or something. He
I think
won some
he's
big
been ripping it
accolade.
up over there. Yeah, he's been ripping it up over there. I
Yeah.
mean, we knew he would because he's a quality player. Right, he signed. I can never.
Alfie, where's the tell me where the article is for the Fulham winger, and I'll bring it up in just a moment, please. Thank you.
Here we go. 300,000. No, 300K. That's how much.
Well,
Three hundred
that you
thousand
got
we
to say
signed him
that's a good
for.
profit, isn't it?
Yeah,
Football League
well,
World.
that's
Okay, I'll get that up in just a
that is what
moment. So
Pozzo does. That is what Pozzo does for you. That's the only upside I would give Pozzo. That's about it.
just keep talking, George. Just going to get up this. There's an article apparently on Football League World around this new Watford winger potentially joining from Fulham.
Just have a look at what Jeff said here. They've invested heavily in the club, built a new stand and upgraded the training grounds. Premier League, yes, they sacked way to managers. Look, I agree. I'm not going to fault the ownership for what they've done because we probably would have been in a worse position because of Bassini. However, you can't guarantee stability if you keep stacking managers, not backing your manager that you hired, stuff like that. I think it's more of a case that people get sick and tired of it. Again, we're not going to get toxic over it. We're not going to argue with each other. Like, look, if you think Pozzo's the right man, fair enough. We'll agree to disagree. However, I think we would be in a better spot if the managers' sackings weren't as bad as they are. Because I think it's James. Am I correct in saying it's 21 managers in 12 years?
Yeah, I mean the figure the figure gets disputed, doesn't it? I mean, it could be more,
Yeah,
Jules, but I think like
and
it
I think
depends if you count the caretaker and interim managers, doesn't it?
I think it's 23 if we count
Wow.
caretakers
I
such as
mean, that's
Hayden Mullins.
sensational.
Yeah. The other thing is, I remember seeing West Ham have had about 19 managers, or 20 now in their
In
existence,
their
and we've
lifetime,
had
yeah, as a club.
we've had 21 in 12 years. So it puts us perspective on something because it's not stable. We've never been a stable. We haven't been a stable club for 13 years, and it's a bit concerning because I feel like
So
we're spending more money on manager sacking than signings.
we saw the rumours earlier on Twitter from certain accounts. Ben Wignall from Football League World. I mean, they've claimed it as a exclusive. I mean, we've seen this. This was only posted 5 minutes ago. They've claimed it as a exclusive article. It's not. I don't think that is an exclusive, but we'll roll with it anyway. They've said Watford FC are in talks with Fulham to sign winger Martial Godo on a loan deal for the rest of the season. Sources have exclusively confirmed to Football League World. A 21-year-old is in need of regular game time after being on the fringes of the Cottagers' first team this season, appearing just once in the Premier League under former Watford manager Marco Silva. And following an injury to Baah last month, Watford are in need of strengthening their wide areas in the final third. He spent last season on loan at Wigan Athletic in League One. So, yeah, as we discussed earlier, George, I mean, you'd imagine he's probably, a powerful runner, similar to Baah, albeit he seems to play on the opposite side to the one that Baah does. Is this one for you that's going to go on, maybe past 11 p.m. tonight? Maybe we're going to have a late night, George, staying up waiting for this deal to complete, because if they want to, Watford can submit a deal sheet if it goes over the 11 p.m. deadline.
I'm hoping it's a Tom Cleverley signing and not a Pozzo signing. That's the main one.
It feels like the Caleb Wiley signing is very much a Pozzo signing.
Yeah, I've just got a message from another Instagram page that focuses on future ballers.
Okay.
He likes to scout himself. He says that, obviously, he tagged me in an article saying that we're linked with this, what's the name? Martial Godo. Yep. He then follows up with really good.
Really good?
Yeah, as in really good, as in clearly a very good player. Obviously, can he hack the Championship? I'd like to think he can. As long as it's a Tom Cleverley signing, I'm happy. But knowing this ownership, I don't know. I think that's more something that we need to dig up on.
I'm just going to bring up Mike McGrath. I'm just going to bring it up here on my Twitter. You can just bear with me for one moment. So Mike McGrath of the Telegraph. Here we go. Just give me a second. Here we go. So coming from various sources now, George. So here we go. Mike McGrath of the Telegraph. Watford are in talks, very reliable as well, Mike, over a loan deal for Fulham forward Martial Godo. Highly rated 21-year-old has been in Marco Silva's first team squad this season, but could be allowed out if there is an arrival. Now, this is the key, George, as we've discussed already this evening. AC Milan's Samuel Chukwueze has been looked at by Fulham. I mean, it's going to be so disappointing if we get to 11 p.m, the AC Milan deal doesn't go through, and then Watford are left without a winger. That could be a possibility, couldn't it?
Yeah. Just hoping that deal goes through, to be honest. Because, again, I've just asked the same person what he thinks of this player. He says that he's small, he's got quick feet, really good on the ball. And, again, like you said, he was at Wigan. He had a positive spell at Wigan. Obviously, so that's League One.
Can he play across any of the front three positions? From what I saw briefly earlier, it looks like he plays on the left-hand side primarily. Yes.
So Transfermarkt says his main position is left wing, but he can also play attacking midfield and right wing. So he can play any of those three in midfield, which, to be fair, adds depth in those areas. But again, it's not enough considering what we've got. But again, like I said, if it's a Tom Cleverley signing and he's happy with that and he wants that player, go ahead. Absolutely go ahead. Because again, he was at League One. He was at League One, so he should be.
I mean, Baah was at League One level, wasn't he? Before he broke onto the scene this season. So the potential in that league is certainly there.
Exactly that. Yeah, agreed.
James Abankwah, George, is one we've not really discussed too much tonight. Had a great game against Norwich, I thought. You were in the rookery, you were probably right behind him, playing out from the back. He made some really nice progressive runs with the ball, I felt.
Yes.
In that game, showing some good pace. Is he one you're quite excited about? I know he's another Udinese signing, but he looks to be the most positive of the lot so far.
He proved me wrong, mainly, because I remember when we first signed him, I was like, oh, great, another bench warmer from Udinese. He then started at Derby, clattered a player within the first, 10 minutes. Yes, he got a yellow, but that's a great introduction, if I say so myself. Norwich over the weekend. Obviously, I was right behind him for the first half. Confident. I didn't think he'd do so well, considering, was he at Charlton a couple of years ago? I don't think he featured that much.
Yeah, Charlton, and then after that, he made the move to Italy.
Yeah, so it's more. He shocked me. Not a bad signing, because there was a moment on Saturday where there was two players coming at him, and he's all of a sudden just spun both of them and just ran towards the midfield. I was like, oh, bloody hell, I didn't think he'd do that. And I think that was early on in the first half. Like, the kid has...
Where were you sitting? Were you were like right behind the goal, weren't you?
Yeah, right behind the goal, just like ground level. Confident. That's what you want, especially at championship level, when you've got players running at you, bodying you. You want the confidence in a centre-back. And at the minute, it's been a good signing, although, again, not a Tom Cleverley signing, it's a Pozzo signing. But
I think what Tom Cleverley does want, though, George, is pace in that back line. In that back line.
Kevin does bring that.
Matty Pollock.
Yeah, Kevin does bring that as well, but he's been injured pretty much the entire season.
Well, George, I was thinking about this earlier. I was coming home earlier, and I was kind of sat there thinking, Kevin Caben signed for Watford back in August, and he's been injured for essentially. I mean, I'm not even counting the minute of football as a return from injury, because he's basically been out for about 6 months at this point, which you have to say is it's really woeful. I mean, from what I heard and from what I've been told by a couple of people, he actually failed his medical, and then Watford still said they were going to push through the deal anyway. Is kind of what I heard at the time. So Watford knew what they were getting themselves into with his knee injury. Hopefully, in the long term, he turns out to be a quality player, because they do really highly rate Kevin Caben.
Yeah, he's still young. He came, I believe, Youth Academy of Toulouse. I still get his nationality wrong. I still think the guy's French, but he's not. He's Cameroonian. But the pace is the main one you want. But if you've got a knee injury, could that be an issue where he constantly gets injured and long term he doesn't actually play that much? It's one of those signings where you go, if he does leave and he hardly plays, it's like, is he one that got away because of his injuries? But unfortunately, we keep signing too many players that are injured.
Just going to see if I can get someone else on here. We'll be finished by 9 p.m, guys. Do not worry. I'm enjoying talking to George today. A great debut from him on his first appearance on the channel. If you do want to follow George's at Watford FC News on Instagram, I'm sure most of you guys follow his accounts, and great graphics. He's very quick with his updates as well. And I'm sure George will appreciate your support.
Thank you very much.
Great debut from you, George, today.
Thank you very much. A lot easier than I first thought, I'll tell you that.
Well, that's good. It's good. Right, let's go through a few of your recent comments. Will said, sorry, been busy this evening. Any updates on the January signings? Well, there was an inquiry from Wolfsburg around Kwadwo Baah. Watford re-signed an academy player from 2022, and it looks like we'll be signing Marshall Godo from Fulham, which is a very brief summary of what has happened this evening. Carlo saying the same thing there. Everyone just echoing what we're saying really here. Middlesbrough confirming Iheanacho. Dennis close to a move to Blackburn as well. So yeah, interesting. And an interesting day, I have to say. So yeah, we're essentially now just waiting for this Marshall Godo confirmation. When that will happen, I don't know. I'm sure WDA team will cover it on their stream, depending on how long they go on for. Is Fabrizio live today, George? I know Fabrizio sometimes goes live on deadline day.
I haven't seen him. I haven't, because he either goes live on Spaces on Twitter or he goes live on YouTube.
There is like a similarity between you and Fabrizio slightly, George. A little bit.
What do you mean?
A tiny bit. Like just the facial hair, I feel.
I don't... well, if I'm Italian, that might help. That might help a little bit.
Do you get compared to any players at all? Like, have you got like a look?
One of my family members keeps saying I look like Matty Pollock.
I can see that.
I sort of see that.
I can see that.
Yeah. I'm sure Matty Porter could take offence to that, but
you've got similar looking chins.
Yeah, I think the other thing is the really red cheeks for some reason.
Yeah. George,
but if I went skinhead again,
FM25 quickly before we go back into the transfer news. FM25 has been delayed for so long. Me and you, big Football Manager fans. We were meant to hear news by the end of January, but they've not released anything. What are your thoughts on Football Manager and that situation?
Massive letdown.
Yeah,
it's a shame. It's a shame that Xbox, because obviously I play on Xbox, unfortunately. They don't do updates or mods where you can have this season on the old game. I've just been completely out of it in terms of playing the old FM. The fact that they said that we'd get news by the end of January, it's now February and we haven't had a thing. So it's worrying to say the least. Hopefully we get a game soon because I'm getting bored of FIFA.
Good shout here from Alfie. Just me who wants Andrews further up the pitch. I mean, his ball striking, George, is really good, Ryan Andrews, to be fair to him. Is that something
he almost scored?
He almost scored at the weekend, you're right.
Yeah, he almost he likes his near post, lower near post, bottom right, on his side. If that's something, well, we're a bit short at fullback, so I don't know if he'd do it now, but I don't. It could work. It just depends on the circumstance of do we need it to experiment it, if you know what I mean. He's still young, so he can technically still do it.
Yeah, Andrews is an interesting one. I mean, people have different opinions on him. Some people say his quality, some people, not so much. Is he one that if he doesn't develop it more in the next year or two, George, he'd look to cash in, or because he's from the academy, because he's one of our own, is he one you keep around the place for maybe a bit longer than that even? I know he signed for a new agent recently. We reported on that he'd switch agents, so I don't know if there's anything too much to read into with that.
I don't think changing managers will help, like most players in our squad anyways. Changing managers wouldn't exactly be the most smartest idea. Cleverly, I think, is not only just a manager, but a development manager. You've seen the increasing games, confidence, ability from Baah. You've seen the improvement in Varta. He's now starting. Obviously, he was on the bench for quite a few months at the start of the season. He's now in contention to start almost every week when he's fit. Andrews, he can have very hit and miss weeks, but on his day, he's still young. He's a couple of years older than me. There's something there. I don't think he's good defensively.
Got an update here from Angie French, George.
Have a look.
Posted it about 10 minutes ago or so. I'll just bring it up on screen now. And this is in regards to this player who we don't know the name of yet, but we think is this winger from Fulham. Someone asked a question, were you expecting this deal to go down to the wire? Was it dependent on the other club having cover first? And Andrew French said here, and I'll highlight it for you. He said, I thought it would be done by now, as did the people at Watford. So they weren't expecting this deal, George, to go down to this stage of the day. Does that make you think it is this Martin Godo guy that Angie French is referring to? Martial Godo, sorry.
It could be. It's again with this Chukwueze signing for Fulham.
I'll tell you what, me and you are woeful at pronunciations. I've got to say that.
It's annoying because I know who this player is. I've heard of him before. I just still can't pronounce the name. Anything can happen. Like I think I'm putting it down to just an idea. We probably had him ready, and then Fulham went, "Hang on, we want to sign someone first," and then it's put us on the back. On the back,
snarky, isn't it? Really,
it happens. Clubs do it. That might be. I'm not saying that is the case, but it could be the case where Fulham have gone, "Hang on, we're not going to let you have him until we've got such and such in the door." That could be the possibility because clubs don't want to let go of someone until they've got a replacement for them. So it could. This could generally go down either to 11 o'clock at night or it will completely fail and we haven't signed anyone.
Are you going to be staying up, George, until the deal's done?
Thankfully, as I'm not at work tomorrow morning, I will be.
How's your sleep schedule at the moment? Is it good or pretty
Dreadful.
woeful? Yeah.
Dreadful, considering I was meant to be on early this week. Not ideal. Not ideal in the slightest. Just having a look.
Yeah, we kind of had a big flurry of information in one go, George, didn't we? And then it's kind of all gone quiet in the
about
past
half 7,
hour.
wasn't it?
Yeah. We had kind of the Quadway Baah. We both got our watches on, George. Look at that.
It's not working for me, this watch.
Matching.
I keep getting I had notifications, but it stopped now. Just don't see where. I've seen Ian Cruz saying, just don't see where the goals are going to come from in the next couple of weeks. I agree with you, if I'm honest with you, Ian. Especially with, I say Baah, not really much of a goal scorer in the slightest, but you've got no Baah. We've now got to rely on either Dumbia, Chakatadze,
we got to hope Vata is. What's the issue with Vata, George? Was it a knee injury? Tom cleverly said.
Saying that, I'm actually going to quickly look because I've completely forgotten because he's been out since. Who did we play recently? Was it Preston or was it just before Preston?
I'm sure it's just the last game he was out, Rocco Vata, wasn't it?
That's it. No, yeah, you are right because I'll have a look. Injury history. Here we go. Right, sorry. It will be when my internet decides to actually load. Jesus Christ, taking a while. 1 second.
So we'll be live for about another 15 minutes or so, and then we'll be handing over to WD18, who are live at 9 p.m. I'm sure they'll take you through towards the end of the deadline. As you were saying, George, we're really just relying on kind of Rocco, Georgie, and Doumbia, really, aren't we? I mean,
exactly.
Tom Ince as well, I suppose you could throw into the mix as well.
Yeah, well, I'm just quickly looking at Rocco Vata. There's no actual documented injury. I think it was more of a.
I think there's been a goal in your game, George, as well.
It would have been
Jared Bowen, apparently. Someone said.
Yeah, yes. Thank you, whoever that was.
Is that 1-0 West Ham?
That is 1-0 West Ham with about 3 minutes to go of usual time.
You a fan of Graham Potter, George?
Yes.
Yeah,
I'd say I would. A lot of Chelsea fans don't like him, but I'm a big fan of him. Okay. Just going back off the base of Vata, no, I think it is a knock, but like you said, Ince, Vata, Baah, Chakatadze are really our only goal threats.
Yeah,
which is quite a low caliber. Especially with
quality players. There's a couple of quality players.
Quality players, but they're not goal scorers.
And they're also not like Quadway Baah is a proper game-changing player. Like his statistics in terms of actual goal output might not have been super high, but his impact, especially from like winning penalties or fouls in dangerous positions, were so vital to kind of that early run that Watford went on, kind of to get us into that playoff mix early in the season.
Yeah, don't know whether the down to the form is the fact that there are injuries, but could it be a state of just tiredness? Because we've been going at every game.
Georgie looks knackered, particularly. I've noticed that.
He's missed out one game this whole season, so he is knackered. It's a shame because a lot of people say, yeah, but he has no goal threat, but he's the only player that really pushes us up the pitch.
Who's our pen taker? I mean, when Tom Bell is not, it's Kayembe when Tom Bell is
not. Every penalty that we've taken so far has either been. I know that Tom Ince had one, Baah had one, but it's mainly been Edo Kayembe at home. He had one against.
I'm sure
Blackburn.
Tom Belly was the designated one at the start of the season.
Yeah, he was. He actually took one. I can't remember who it was against, but he definitely had one. But mainly the goals from the penalty spot being from Kayembe.
What a guy. And
which I've never understood.
What's that saying, George? I think you say, if you don't like Kayembe, you can't be my friend or something. That's what you say.
Hang on. I know exactly where that post is. 1 second.
Kayembe liked one of your comments you put on his post.
Yeah, I did see that. I'm trying to find. Yeah, it was like anyone that likes Kembe is my friend without introduction. Is the
That's it. That's it. You got it bang
that's the
on.
one. I mean, am I wrong? I mean, yes, he can be terrible, but he puts in a shift when he wants, when he feels like it.
Yeah. Is
But
there any other
that's
players you're
about
big
it for me.
fans of? Were you a big Ryan Porteous fan before you made the move to Preston today?
I'm more of a Matty Pollock. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
He's a
I mean,
proper. If he stays for the next 3 years, he will become captain before we know it.
yeah.
He's got the captain's material. He's far more involved than Mr. Sissoko. Again,
Yeah.
I know there's a bit of bias in that where I'm not a fan of
Why do you think
Sissoko.
Tom Cleverley kind of praises Sissoko's professionalism so much? Is it just because he is so experienced in the
Yeah,
game of football, or because he doesn't show it on the pitch? Like everyone can see that.
it probably will be down to experience because I think he did captain a couple of games for Tottenham when he was there. But he's lost his legs. He's 35, 36.
Probably older. I don't know.
I'm butchering his age here, but he's old. He's old. He's getting on a bit. He's getting on a bit.
Should be in a care home, George. Really.
Yeah, I've said that in the
Yeah.
past. He should be in the. Yes, I completely agree. It's just I can't put my finger on why he's been put as captain, especially also Dan Batman. I don't know if that's because obviously Val gave it to him, and then Cleverly just thought I'll just
Well,
keep you
that's
on
it.
it.
We had that. I mean, was it under Val? They had that like leadership group. It was like, I think there's 3 or 4. It was like Batman, Livermore. Who
Yeah,
else
and
was in
then
that, George? I can't remember. There's a couple of others, wasn't there? I'm sure
I was
there
going to say
was.
Hamer, but he was only there
I
for a
think
year.
Hamer was actually. I think you're right. I think Hamer was in the group.
But obviously Batman got that 5-year deal last year, and the captaincy in one tweet. A lot of people didn't like that. It's. I just want to see Matty Pollock with the armbands a bit more because he has that leadership. He's young. I say he's young. He's older than me, but he's young for a footballer.
Yeah.
And I said it over the weekend. He's a typical Grimsby lad that just gets stuck in, and he will do whatever
Are
it
you
takes to
familiar with
not
the
let that ball
Grimsby
get in.
area, George?
No, but you sort of when you think of Grimsby, you think solid.
When I
you
think
of
of
a player from
Grimsby,
Grimsby,
I think hardcore northern lads.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly that. And I think he fits that perfectly. And
Yeah.
he shows a lot more interest in being captain. This is okay, does.
Yeah.
And
No, absolutely.
people are seeing it. I think you'd be stupid to not. Well, I say stupid, but if you don't see it, try and point it out to yourself, and you'll see it because Pollock has that push on as a player to everyone else around him. And I think he commands the defence quite well. I know he conceded a lot, but that's not really at fault of him. He doesn't really put a foot wrong for me.
I think this will be our final discussion point today, George. Now, I've just remembered actually, we've not mentioned this player once today. We were expecting him to leave on loan. I've not seen any rumours whatsoever about him. It's Miles Roberts. He was recalled from Partick Thistle, George. What's happened? I mean,
Yeah,
we've not seen anything all day. I mean, I don't know if you can do some quick research for us to see if there's anything out there, but as it stands at the moment, it's a real shame because it seems like Miles Roberts at the moment will be remaining at Watford unless there's something happening in the background.
I'm trying to think. Does he get mentioned in the interview with Gianluca Nani? Because I remember something being said where we recalled him because we got an injury, so he was back up Bond, and then they said if we found a replacement, he'd then be shipped back out on loan. I don't know if that's the case anymore, which is annoying considering was it Patrick Thistle is the name.
Partick
A
Thistle
lot
in
of that.
Scotland, yeah.
That's the one. That's the one.
Not Patrick, not Patrick. I don't know a
They
Patrick.
were very disappointed to see him go. Apparently, very very beneficial for the club. I think starting every single game as well. But the fact that we're now not going to give him any game time because we've got no cup games, and we've now signed someone, it doesn't look like he's going to get a
No,
look in,
but
and he's now third choice again.
Well, the frustration for me is
Where,
that we've got enough depth there again. We've got Selvik Bonds. You've got Alfie Marriott, who's in the academy as well.
yeah, he's
Miles
injured
Rob.
still. I think. I think he
I, I
has a
s-
dislocated knee
well,
or a
I saw a
toe.
tweet the other week. Some guy went out for a meal with Alfie Marriott's fan. I mean, this is just some tweet I saw. Don't take this at
Yeah,
face
I
value.
no, I think I know exactly the tweet you're on about.
Some guy went out for a meal with Alfie Marriott's family because he had his girlfriend was there or something, and then he spoke about how he's injured his finger or something. It was something like, or his toe. It might have been his toe, but
Yeah, no, it was the toe. It was the toe.
Alfie,
I
if you're watching, you're more than welcome to come on and clarify.
I know that he went to the same school as me. I think he was about a year above me.
Right.
I chase it up, but I'm really not that fast. I'll be honest. It's a case of we've got 4 or 5 goalies now,
It's just
and
a
one of them
shame
that
because
can
we're
just
hindering
go
Miles
on
Roberts'
loan.
development.
Yeah, it is affecting his development because he again could be the new backup in the couple of years to come because he did well out on loan, and the fact that we're now halting his development again doesn't really help him or us as a whole. So it's one of those where it's like, well, you said you could take him back out on loan, but you haven't, and there's not been a single link. But we're going to say this now, and then all of a sudden he's probably going to be shipped out to Rochdale or something,
Yeah.
or like Accrington Stanley.
Nothing
Something
against
will pop up.
Accrington, but it's
Nothing at
nothing on
all.
Watford. Nothing on Watford.
Exactly.
Right, George. We'll wrap up here. I think about 2 hours 10 minutes to go until the deadline. Very quickly, we'll just go over what's happened in the past couple of hours. So, remind me if I miss anything, George. But we've had Quadway Baah linked with a move away to Wolfsburg. That offer was immediately refused by Watford. We've re-signed an academy player who left Watford back in 2022. We've been linked with Marshall Godo from Fulham. He's a winger, a young winger, young English winger, very promising it seems. But we're awaiting Fulham to sign a replacement before that deal can go through. So Fulham, it's Samuel Chukwueze from AC Milan. We need that deal to go through, it seems, before Watford can get the loan deal completed for Marshall Godo. Caleb Wiley has signed today, the USA international, George, left wing back from Chelsea. And then we've also seen departures from Ryan Porteous as well, off to Preston North End under Paul Heckingbottom. Other outgoings this window include Jebison, Tikvich, Almeida, Ebisele, and King Ken Sema. And Watford have also brought in Egil Selvik and James Abankwah into the club. So, George, if you can rate our business out of 10 this window, what's it going to be? I'm assuming quite a low rating.
A miserable 1. No, you know, I'll be
Really?
nice. A miserable 2.5.
What's your justification for that rating, George?
Can't think of one. It's just a bit like you. I'm pretty like
We've
you said
we've left
when we
it
started.
too late, haven't we?
Yeah, we always do, always do. I remember when we first started the stream, you said something about Gianluca Nani saying, "Oh, we'll strengthen over this window." We've got worse.
Yeah.
We've got a lot worse. We've been stripped down to just bones. All the flesh is gone, and it's just a bit disappointing. Very, very disappointing. Considering cleverly asked for championship players, got none.
Well, yeah, even if this winger joins George, is not an experienced championship professional. So,
Nope.
For me, what would my rating be? I would go with. I'm always the optimist, George. So I'll go with a 4, just because we brought in a first team goalkeeper. We needed to do that. And hopefully, if he's as good as we think he is, he'll be the long-term Daniel Batman replacement. And also James Abankwah, early signs he looks promising. And if we can, I'd maybe like to see that deal made permanent in the summer if it's possible. So a couple of decent players. Caleb Wiley, I'm not going to discredit him before he kicks the ball, but he's injured. We've signed an injured left wing back.
Yeah.
Tom Cleverley seems to want to play in a back 4 in recent weeks, and Caleb Wiley doesn't really fit that system. So a strange one for me. I would have much preferred Charlie Taylor, who was linked, or Matt Targett. So Yeah, a couple of nice additions, I would say, but yeah, definitely not the number of additions I wanted, and definitely not the players Tom Cleverley really wanted himself either. So
Exactly.
Oja
Yeah, I
says
agree.
agree in the 4 out of 10. Melanie's gone 3. VJ's gone 4. So yeah, everyone's pretty
I think we've
aligned
all
with
agreed
us.
on what we think of this window, and I think a lot of people online will as well. It'd be interesting to see how the next couple of months go, and especially February, because that is a tough month that we've got ahead. And we got
Put it this way, we don't want to be sat here in a month, George, saying that Tom Cleverley has been, relieved of his position, do we?
yeah. If I'm sat here with you on a live stream that Tom Curry's been sacked, I don't think I'll say a word. I think I'll be gobsmacked. Don't know. I think I'll need at least 24 hours to just let my head cool down and then say it, because it would be stupid to do. Yes, we've not won much in the last couple of games, but what do you expect with the quality he's got? I believe, I know I'm not an owner, but I believe Tom Cleverley is the man to take us forward. But that's down to Gino Pozzo, unfortunately.
Absolutely. All right, George, thank you very much for coming on. We were originally doing this for just half an hour, but to be fair, it's actually been, I don't know if George is very happy for being on here for 2 hours. But
Nah, I'm all right.
It's been a good chat regardless.
Thank you very much.
Where can, for one last time, where can people find you, both your personal accounts and your main accounts on social media?
You can find my personal and fan page on Twitter. My fan page will be Watford_FC News. My personal will be WFC George _. Find me on Instagram. It's the same handle. It'll be Watford_FC News. I don't do TikTok. I've got an account, but they're pretty mid edits. So if you want to see some awful edits,
I
go
call
over there.
TikTok the brain rot app. Honestly, I've got an account on there, George, as you say, but it's just weird. I go on there.
Video editing isn't my specialty. Yeah, video editing is not my specialty. So I'll stick to the mobile Photoshop that I like to call it. I've tried to go down the Photoshop route and it's too expensive. So I'll step back for a little bit before I go back into that. So if you want to find me, that handle on Instagram. So yeah, thank you very much.
No problem, George. And you can find the Watford Way very easy at the Watford Way on pretty much every social platform: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, at the Watford Way. Check us out on all them pages. So thank you for watching. It's been a very intriguing live stream, some breaking news at times, and some good conversation with both George and the live chat as well. And we'll see you again very, very soon. Hopefully George will be back for a second appearance in the next few weeks as well. Bye-bye.
Hopefully not as soon as we think. See you later.